Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Hey, welcome to the Jackie and Laurie Show.
Hi, Laurie Kilmartin.
Hi, Jackie. How are you, Jackie Cation?
I am good. We are here at the Nerdist the Nerdist loft,
The theater.
the Erie.
Oh, nice.
Right? Isn't it like an eagle eye view of Nerd Melt? Of
Yeah, and
Meltdown
that's not
comic
pronounced
books?
Airy. It's pronounced Erie.
No, I'm wrong. I think it's pronounced Erie.
I don't know.
You know what I do? I do a lot of reading. Don't do a lot of talking.
I can spell it. I can't say it.
Exactly. I can spell a lot of things. It's so here we are. It's us.
This is our first official show, I
This will
think.
be the first one we'll drop.
And then we had a bunch of ones that we did earlier that we'll add later. You can, if you are
if you love
really
the show.
into us, you can go back and hear us fumbling around,
learning about how many articles are possible to send a person. Hey, we don't like women comics. Hey, we don't like women in general. Hey, you're short and you bother me.
Yeah.
It's so those were like the first 5 episodes, us just going through the backlog of people saying mean things.
So, and this podcast is about we're comedians. We've been doing comedy almost
7,700 years together.
I've been doing it since 87. You've been doing it since 85. Okay.
Yeah.
So a long time.
Long time listener, full time.
Yes. Yeah. And we've just been around for a long time, and we have lots of thoughts on women and comedy, and that seems to be a never ending topic or fascination.
It is a rabbit hole
with the media right now.
You know, somebody asked me, they said, what's it about? And I said, well, as opposed to middle-aged white guys talking about comedy, it's middle-aged white ladies talking about comedy. And when we're all lucky, it's just going to be different comics of different people of color, different genders, transgender.
It feels like it's turning into that. I feel like comedy is getting a lot more female. I think
there's a lot of great women.
There's great women. I think the audience is getting more female, and I think the venues are almost like alternative venues seem a little more feminine because there's
a lot more women producers of stand-up, especially in Los Angeles. Anyway.
Yeah.
And in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And how about San Fran?
I think so.
Yeah.
And
you were just in New York.
I was.
Were there a lot of women run? What'd you mostly do?
I was at the stand.
Most of the time, right?
Yeah. But wait, let me go back before we go to New York. I do think that the stand-up comedy is becoming more female in every single way. And there's more female comics and with the audience and just the kind of almost the rhythm of stand-up. It's not a lot of like if Andrew Dice Clay was the most masculine sort of energy, there's a lot more female type of energy on stage.
Right. There's more feminine.
Do you agree with that?
Sure, I think so. I don't.
You don't have to.
No, I was trying to think. Like, I think that there's noticeably more women in every part of the production.
Yes.
From coming to see it to performing it, especially because I think we've talked about this before about how you hang out with a bunch of comics or a bunch of bookers and you are the only woman in the room.
That still happens frequently.
Right. It still happens frequently, but now more often there's another woman in the room. So when someone says something horrifying, you can say, did he just say something horrifying? And you have someone to turn to, and you can both nod and go, oh, yeah, that is inappropriate. Are we still going to go out to breakfast?
That just reminded me, last weekend I was working at Stand Up Scottsdale.
Oh,
and
right.
Emily Galati, who's so funny.
Yes.
And by the way, she has an abortion joke that is so fucking brilliant.
And it's going to destroy.
It will.
Right now it's great.
She acknowledges it. It's just 3 weeks old. It's one of those jokes that is, you're going to have to learn to control it and manipulate it. It's like an amazing.
It's a wildfire. You told me
ball.
the bit.
It's clay that she is slowly shaping, and it's fucking phenomenal. So it's early on. I'm like, in 3 months, it's gonna change the world.
Right. She's gonna create a whole. She's gonna stop like the stopping of women reproductive rights. She's gonna stop the tide.
Yeah, it's
gonna be awesome.
So we're in the green room, and somebody, I'm not gonna say who it was because I actually can't remember his name, but we're talking about Sicarios, and Emily Blunt is the female lead in Sicarios.
Okay,
and he didn't like her because he thought her character changed too much from earlier stuff she had done. And we were both
With
like,
the actress?
yeah, like, and isn't
he
that
stopped
what our
liking the actress?
actresses are supposed to be
Yeah,
doing?
you're an empty vessel. Somebody pours a script into you, and then you
Yeah.
turn into a bad guy or a good guy, right?
And then another movie came up, and he liked that actor because he's so different in this movie than the other one, and we're both like, what?
What just happened,
Emily
bro?
Blunt just did the same thing, but you didn't like her,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff where if you're the only woman in the room. You're like, am I crazy? Is this a female thing? And should I bring it up or
Yeah.
not? And then we both just sort of run the same
Andy was
wavelength
my
instantly.
fella, Andy Ashcraft,
Yeah.
good egg, was just telling me because we've seen Star Wars twice and we've seen Mad Max Fury Road half a dozen times.
Really?
Yeah, we
In the
own it.
theater? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
in the theater we saw it 4 times, and then I've seen it twice since I bought it.
So that's like $120 between the two of you just
they
on
can
Mad
have
Max.
Sure, they can have all my money.
Oh,
Sure.
my goodness.
Help yourself.
Okay.
And but he had read some article about how the plethora of women characters in Star Wars and people of color, like there were black. I saw like an Indian or a Pakistani guy with the bad guys in the background of The Force Awakens.
Really?
And all I could think was, oh my God, I think that guy's Indian.
And he was just a background guy?
He was one of the officers standing on the bridge of the terrible Death Star like thing, the Star Killer, and I was like, there's like just women running around, like women running to work ships, women.
And were they in Bryce Howard heels from Jurassic World, or were they?
No, they were all just dressed in like normal uniforms.
Yeah.
And they look like either Nazis, like bad guys always do in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or they look like, like Scruffy McScruffersons.
Yeah.
Because they're the rebel.
Getting the job done.
Yeah, getting the job done. Rebels.
That's
And it
cool.
was so neat. And Andy said to me, he said, you played, when you were a kid, you played Star Wars, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, were you Luke Skywalker or Han Solo? And I was like, no, I was, because I was adjacent. I was just one of their friends who happened to be really good at, flying the Millennium Falcon as well. And he was like, yeah, he said, it's not that it didn't occur to me that there was sexism. It's just stuff like that. Like it like lights him up sometimes. He's like, I guess everything was pointed at me, and I get to be Han Solo when I'm playing, and I get to be Luke Skywalker if I want, and I can do whatever.
You have to be Slave Leia.
I have to either be Leia or I have to create a new character, which I am willing to do. I'm always willing to write, Laurie Kilmartin.
Well, on Project Greenlight this last season, one of the great. To me, the great scenes, but then to some white guys I was talking to, they were like, "Oh, she's micromanaging." But it's an African American line producer,
okay,
and there's like 100 extras for a wedding,
yep,
and it's an upscale wealthy wedding,
okay.
So of course there are no upscale wealthy black people. It's all white people.
Wow.
As extras,
yeah.
And she refused. She's like, no, that can't happen. And the only black actor was a chauffeur, and she's like, I'm not going to be part of this where the only black guy is serving these white people. And there's no reason why you couldn't just have a table with 3 black faces or Asian any non-white faces
right.
as just friends of these people.
Yeah,
like who doesn't have friends that would come to in Los Angeles? This isn't an Omaha. This is Los Angeles now.
Right.
Everyone's got every kind of friend. Everyone has their own Noah's
It's true,
Ark.
because in South Milwaukee, Wisconsin, there were very few black people. There were plenty of them who worked at the factory in South Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And then they went home afterwards. They took the bus, they got in their car. And so the first sort of rich black people I saw was 2 times. Here in Los Angeles, when I went to Quincy Jones's restaurant, it was entirely full of wealthy or middle-class black people. And I was like, this is weird, being the only white person. And then I opened up for Anita Baker.
Whoa!
Yeah, I did.
You guys
I did
just
stand-up.
missed the move she just did to jog her memory. She did
why?
a dance.
Because I was thinking of Anita Bryant.
Yeah.
And she doesn't sing. She's political.
Right.
There's something with orange juice.
Yes.
She's a nightmare. Anita Baker, on the other hand, it was an entire audience, just affluent black people who had come out to the theater to see some music. And I was doing my 15 minutes to warm them up, get them all pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
And it was just... And you're like, yeah, there's plenty of affluent black people in the world, and there just isn't represented.
Yeah.
So
and
it's cool to see different people in the background of all this crap.
Right.
It's
and
just neat.
It's so weird that it doesn't occur to people's brains. Like, you don't go, this doesn't look weird to you? Like I think everyone should live in New York for 5 years. And then an all white audience will be terrifying to you.
Right.
Because,
it'll be spooky.
Yeah, it is spooky. And I remember
Salt Lake City.
Yes, I was
It's
just a road
soothing
comic.
for a day and a half. And then it's spooky. All right, so go ahead.
I was just a road comic for a long time, and it was mostly road audiences were mostly white audience, mostly middle class white audience, right?
Right, because me too. I wasn't working the
going
black
to the
room
comedy,
circuit. Yeah.
The Comedy Catch or the Comedy House Theater or whatever it was. You know,
Right.
it was all those little chains all over the South and the Midwest, and then I went to New York, and there's never a racial majority of. There's like a black table, there's a Dominican table, there's a Puerto Rican, and then there's some white people, but they might be Europeans. Like
Right, they might actually not be from America.
Yeah,
they might
so
be
there-
actually tourists.
Yeah, there's no one owning the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, and so that actually it becomes normal after a while, and then you go back to an all white audience, and it's weird.
Right, it is weird. I remember the first time I did Salt Lake City, it was soothing. I was like, why does this feel so calm? It's because I was like, I've not seen anyone. You know how it is it's like white noise, to use the pun, I
their
guess.
laughter.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, when there's nobody of any difference around you, you can feel sort of more comfortable. And then when you see people, but it's more damn interesting when there's more different colors,
course, yeah.
and more genders and more everything.
Yeah. And so comedy is, and it's becoming more common of, you know, just people of color. You know, I hate people of color. Such Hari Kondabolu had a funny. I don't know. He just mentioned that he was. I guess I'm a person of color. It's like, yeah, it's just such.
I don't know. I'd sorry to lump you
ridiculous
into a bunch
term.
of people, but I guess we're all white.
Yeah.
So we get to go there.
I told him
Super.
I wish that the Dean Banquet, who's the African American editor of the New York Times, should start calling white people without color. But it's not happening so far. But I hope you would.
No, it hasn't taken.
So let's. So this is. I'm in the middle of road work.
Oh, right.
Which I
'Cause
never
you're on
do.
hiatus.
That's right.
From Conan.
That's right. I'm a writer for Conan, so we have hiatus weeks. And this last week, I went to New York. I took my kid to New York. I was doing spots at the stand, and I wanted to be like Christmas mom during the day. So it was tough, you know. And I had to, you know, I got sitters and stuff. I met one sitter in. You're like,
Craigslist?
oh, good. I don't care. No, but it's weird. It's a lot of, not Craigslist, but pretty close. Like a friend of a friend met us in Times Square, and I'm like, hi, here's my kid. I'm going to go to the stand and do a couple
that's
sets. And they went to
hilarious.
see a movie.
Okay.
But yeah, and I brought my kid to clubs a couple times.
Right.
And, you know, it's worrisome, and I don't want to be, you know, I think sometimes people bring their kids, and it's like, every parent naturally expects everyone to be fascinated by their child. So I don't want to be that person. So I'm, you know, I'm like, I was hiding him in a corner and putting blankets on him and telling him not to make eye contact with
sit
comedians.
by the coats. Sit
Yes.
by the coats.
But yeah, I felt like I
would
was
think you'd be
pulled in
worried.
every fucking direction, and it wasn't relaxing. New York is never relaxing anyway, and like I was there for 10 years, and when I was there and I was doing spots every night, I was the strongest I've ever been. Like I was a fucking monster.
Okay.
And I'm in LA now, and I'm maintaining, I'd say 80% of my abilities with spots here. You know?
do so many sets, Laurie Gilmartin. It's hilarious to me that you think that you could do more sets.
No, but so I was like, oh my God, I'm getting ready to go to New York. What I have to follow, you know, if I have to follow Big J, I mean, you have to assume you're going to follow somebody who does 7 sets a night and is a fucking killer.
Right.
And, you know, and I did a lot of times, and I'm.
Yeah, because Big J. Okerson works out at the stand a fair amount
and
too,
then
right?
he wasn't there that week, but Keith Robinson, like
Sure.
I love Keith Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay, he was on Tough Crowd, and he was doing crowd work, and he was killing it. And it's just that easiness and when I get to New York, I'm like, I got to prove I haven't lost it. Like I have 3 days where I'm just like, go fucking kill it, and then like the fourth or fifth day, I'm like, okay, I don't think
It's
anyone
comedy.
thinks I lost it. It doesn't matter. Maybe I did lose something, you know. But whatever, I'm here and I'm doing fine, and it's okay. And then I felt like the last night.
Is it more fun?
Yes,
there you go.
The last night I had sets where it was me. You know that where you're, instead of trying to prove you haven't lost something, you're just like fine with yourself.
Yeah.
So that always takes like 4 or 5 days to get
To
that.
really get that back?
Yes, and then of course I left the next
I
day.
want you to have that. I want you to have that from the get-go.
I know.
Why would you ever be insecure, Laurie Kilmartin? Because you fucking destroy every time you go
I
on
don't
stage.
destroy every time, and I
I
a
mean,
lot
I'm
of the
not
sets here are like I was telling you in the email. It's like at the hat store or it's at this, and those are cool sets. But
Sure, that
it
hat
does-
store is nice. It's a hat store gig.
Yeah, it is. It is actually.
It's over in
nice
South
gig.
Pass, I
yeah,
think,
I
or
like
Pasadena,
it.
yeah.
But those kind of shows are different from like a New York audience,
Sure.
you know, and that
club
rhythm. It's almost like
audiences.
that double Dutch where you just gotta follow the rope and then jump right in, and
That is a beautiful analogy, by the way.
it's faster, and
Yep.
maybe there's 2 ropes in New York City, and in
Yep.
LA there's 1 rope and it's really slow, and in New York it's 2, and you got to fucking move your feet really fast, and you can get back in your rhythm, but it does take a little bit, and it's always terrifying.
But what
And
I
then I'm
love-
worried that the sitter's kidnapping my kid.
Right. That'll
At
throw
the
you.
same time, there's
but
a
when the
little
kid's in
part of
the
my
in the
brain.
club, do you ever think to yourself, is someone turning him into an old soul? Please don't turn him into an old soul. He's just a boy. Leave him alone.
Both times I put him in corners and I let him play on my iPhone, so
Yep.
I couldn't record those sets. But
Right.
it was
He
something I
needs
had
his
to,
own iPhone. What?
Yeah. No.
Too soon. Too
Too
soon.
soon.
And
I'd
so,
rather not. Yeah.
Yeah, what I love about LA sets versus road sets versus New York sets is that they're all so different, right? I mean,
Yes.
you get different skills.
Yeah,
Los
right,
Angeles
right.
audiences, because you're in a hat shop, because
Yeah.
you're in a dive bar performing for the 7 other. Last night I did a set in the dark. And the only thing lit was the stage. It was some weird La Crescenta Glendale bar that the bar itself didn't have any light.
Wow.
I said to the bartender, "What are you, just finding booze by feel?" It's like this looks like a root beer. And because I'm 100.
It's your booze.
That's your booze.
We're old
A really,
ladies, guys.
Really nice Sprecher. Anyway, so but
I don't even know what that is.
It's a kind of root beer that's out of Milwaukee.
Okay.
I'll be over here. So, but what it's like they listen a lot more in Los Angeles. They want to hear what weirdo
Yeah.
premises you're coming up with. That is true too in New York as well. They want to hear weirdo premises, but they would like you to chop, get to the fucking point.
I agree, and I do think the LA audiences are willing to meet you halfway a little bit more, and the New York audiences won't lift a fucking finger.
Right, they'll
you
just
better
stare at you for a
give
second,
them a
then they're
joke
like-
they get immediately, or they'll turn on you.
Right, unless you're famous. In both cases,
Yeah.
they will cut you all the slack in the
All
world.
of our rules don't apply to famous
Yeah,
people.
none of them apply if Jesselnick shows up. Everybody's like, it'll be fine. Amy Schumer, we're just going to love
Right.
her and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so, and then road stuff.
Yeah.
And remember, like, because I tend to work on a lot of new stuff on the road, and I forget. Like, it's like what you said, like I went on the road and I was like, oh, I like to open the first 15 minutes of my new 15 minutes. I was like, what are you, nuts? Why are you opening with your with your new 15 minutes? But I didn't want the club to see the old 15 minutes.
Oh, I do the same thing.
Where,
oh, yeah.
the club, I want the club to think that I'm
You want to
always-
impress.
Right, I want them to know that I am continuing to write. So I
Right,
have my
right.
own insecurity issues
Exactly.
about whether or not I'm going to do well. And plus, here's an admission that I was talking to Bamford about. When you get in the groove and you're killing every night, and then you get up and you just do really well. And you're
It's
like,
an outrage.
Oh, it's an outrage. I won't pay. Why was I not carried off stage? What happened? And so it is a bit of a tiny letdown.
Yeah.
If you're in the zone
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you just do well.
Yeah.
And you're like, everybody had a good time, stop doing it. And what my favorite thing is you tweeted the other day is you said that somebody came up to you after the show and said that you were pretty funny.
And by the way, yes.
Who was this?
Some
Just
dude.
a dude.
Some dude.
All right.
And it was Emily and I are walking out. We were at Scottsdale, and it
Okay.
was the Late Show, which was
Always a mess.
a mess. It was
It's always a sloppy mess.
Somebody went up and did some very experimental character work, which angered the audience. Understandably, if you pay for a Saturday night show,
Right.
yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, so
Nobody wants to suffer through your hat.
yeah, and then I had to get in there. It's regroup, calm them down, and then and then those are the shows where you end up doing more time because you want to really make up for everything that happened.
Yeah. You're like, you people deserve comedy.
Yeah.
Let me fix this.
So I worked harder on that show than any of the other shows.
Right.
And made it fine.
And made it nice for people.
It was good. People left going, that was a good show. And hopefully they forgot about the 10 minutes they were furious. And that's when I got the pretty funny. And I'm like, motherfucker, don't modify that compliment.
Yeah.
You tell me I'm funny or you just shut the fuck up and walk to your car.
So
that's all you can give me?
Yeah.
Ugh.
First show Saturday, Madison, Wisconsin, last week. And great club, super fun. Two ladies come out. I don't know if they're a couple, but a couple of ladies come out, and I'm selling merch because I am the Larry the Cable Guy of stand-up comedy. I have a lot of merch.
I have all respect for you.
You want no part of it. Oh my God!
If I was
a DVD,
making
a CD, 2 other CDs which I didn't bring, and then I have 4 T-shirts.
How much does it cost you to bring that stuff?
Nothing. It's I get free luggage because I'm on the road 40 weeks a year. And so I have Delta.
That's great.
Delta and Southwest. If you get the
Southwest,
Delta, if you get the Delta card, you get 2 free bags.
Oh,
and extra points, and then Southwest always free. And those are the two.
Right.
Those are the 2 airlines that I mostly fly.
Okay.
And I don't always bring all of the shirts because I feel ridiculous.
You bring a lot of sizes too, right?
Right.
I used to sell shirts, and yeah.
There's shirts and there's shirts, right? I mean,
tell me.
There's horrible shirts, right?
Right.
There's the shirt with a frog on it that says "Rub It."
Is that yours?
No, that's
Okay.
Adam Richman's.
Okay.
That's that fuck chop.
Okay.
And then there's all of mine are like fan art. So
fuck chop, by the way,
is a great one. It's a good one.
it is a good one.
It's nice. And it's just usually powered by a pile of fucking haircuts. Anyway, so but my shirts are usually, they're fan art, and they're usually, I only want to sell shirts that I want to wear. And then I was told by my nephew, you cannot wear your own shirts because it isn't cool. And he's 23, so he knows shit. And I was like, boo. So
Okay.
I have 2
Yeah.
Dork Forest t-shirts, and then I have a Ranger of the Dork Forest t-shirt, and then I have my new, because I have a joke about Spooky Reading Girl, I have a Spooky Reading Girl t-shirt. And they're all union made here in the United States by people with dental. I don't know.
Here she goes, guys.
Here we go, Billy
Cation
Bragg
with the
politics.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I had all the merch, but anyway, these 2 women come up. One of them had the time of her life, and she was telling me that she had a lovely time, and she thought I was very funny, and hooray for comedy. And the other one just stood there for a second, and there was a pause, and that woman leaned in, and she goes, "I like 3/4 of your act."
Oh my God.
And I said, "Oh, great. That's great. Thank you so much." And then she said, "The other quarter," and I said, "No.
Stop her. Right
That's
there.
it. Stop. You don't get to tell me."
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, I was just going to," and I said, No, I'm just going to appreciate that you like 75% of it. That seems great. There are a lot of people, some people don't like even that much.
That's mind-boggling to me that people feel like they can come up and tell you that.
It was a lot of information that I didn't need.
Many people and their have been empowered to give their opinions.
Right.
On social
They've had
media.
a couple
I
of
blame
adult-
Twitter for this.
I blame a couple of adult beverages and the fact that comics are approachable.
Yes, you're very approachable. You
Well,
are.
I am super approachable. Who doesn't want to take this home and cuddle it? And completely insane. But yeah, but the road is so that's
And it also is a great place to get practice your persona on stage, you know? You know what I mean? Just to have your personality on stage.
Oh.
Absent your material. Separate from your material is who you are on stage, how you take the stage, how you interact with people. You know what I mean? Like that's a separate thing from your jokes, I think. And I think doing long amounts of time really help you kind of develop that.
to find that.
Yes.
Yeah.
To get better at that.
Yeah. There was a lot of we want to do a segment. Remember the segment
Yes.
we want to do with the woman comic of the week or whatever? Or just any comic, I suppose, eventually.
Yeah, right.
Because we're going to run out of women. We're never going to run.
We're paying it forward?
Yeah, or
Is that
something
it?
like that.
Something like that.
We could name it. But let's not name it Paying It Forward.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
name it Bucket List.
Why?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
Because let's stick a bunch of women in a bucket and go, this is the last thing I'm going to watch.
It's comics we see in clubs
That you don't know.
That you probably don't know because they're not getting on late night yet.
Right.
And they should be.
But they're super funny.
Do you want to do it now?
I don't. Well, remember the one you emailed me? Who was that?
It was, okay.
Because she was super smart and silly and funny, which is my favorite kind of comedy.
Well, I was gonna. You know what? I will do Emily Galati another time.
Okay.
Because
you just worked with her and it was great.
But I'll do her. We'll do her another time. We can get more in depth on her. And,
Yeah.
But Marcella Arguello is. She's a friend of mine. She's. Originally from Modesto. She's a San Francisco comic initially.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's like this where you started in Minneapolis, but San Francisco comics, no matter when you started, you have this sort of connection, with every generation.
Yeah. And the generations are like 5-6 years apart. They're tight.
Yeah. So Marcella's, she's younger than me. She might be in Kamau Bell's sort of generation.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit younger.
Okay.
And really funny. She's very hip. She's she does a lot of funny hip hop jokes that I shouldn't get because I'm not into hip hop.
Right.
I mean, I love the Sugar Hill Gang. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But,
Well, hip hop is over ever since Hamilton hit the bigs.
Oh, really?
Well, it's a sign when it
no
becomes
more Hamilton from you. I can't take it.
I love Hamilton.
I know, but you haven't
I'm not throwing
seen
away.
it.
Not throwing away my shot. And I got for Christmas. I got a T-shirt
What?
that says "Burr shot first," and it's in the Han Solo font. It's in the Han shot.
Oh,
first,
yeah.
But it says "Burr shot first." Aaron Burr. It's about Aaron Burr and Hamilton in the duel. Anyway, I'll be
I
over
just
here.
checked out. Mentally, I
TikTok.
just checked
That's
out.
it. That's it.
I'm back
You're
in.
going to talk about that murder thing on Netflix, so whatever.
Oh my. Okay, first let me just finish with her,
Yeah,
Marcella.
Marcella.
I think she did Last Call with Carson Daly, which
Okay.
is fine. but
that's
she
a
should
credit. That's
definitely. She has a set. I know she has
Yeah.
a set. She's ready to do a late night show, and her Instagram's really great. And I think we were talking about on an earlier.
How do you spell her last name, Marcella?
Arguello, Arguello.
Okay. Yeah, Google that, guys.
Yeah, Marcella.
out-
She has a great Instagram where she's really funny, and she's like this really. She's like 6'3" and probably weighs 25 pounds. So she's got this very
she's
interesting,
super willowy and tall.
rock star
Yeah.
body. Yeah, like I think she has that it quality where she's fascinating. She's also a good writer. She's got all the good stuff, and she's got that sort of thing where you're like, you just want to. Watch her.
Yeah.
Which is it's an intangible.
right,
And I
and I
say
had
get
never-
on the Marcella train.
I've met her,
now.
but I had never really seen enough of her stand up. So when you sent me the link, I went
Yeah.
and I looked her up on Google and
Yeah.
videos and watched her. It was smart. It was silly.
Yes.
And it was,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
all, it was super.
Yeah, and she's
a great comic.
She's a huge
good writing.
Patrice O'Neill fan, which
Okay.
is like another like check in her
favor.
box. Yes, yeah. She just she has the right influences,
Okay.
and she's like headed in the right direction. She's going towards the light.
All right.
That's what I think.
The Laurie Kilmartin
Stamp
seal
of
of approval.
Yes, that's right.
Hey, let's never do that again.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I don't know why I made an
Why did
impression
you
of a
bark?
seal. I don't know, guys. See, I don't do that many impressions, you guys. So I just thought I would do my seal
one
impression.
less.
Let's wrap it up. And, that's cool.
Yeah. And so then I was in Scottsdale last weekend, which was, like I said, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
But that's like New York to Scottsdale. Those are two things.
Right.
It was a good week. And then this next week I'm at Cobb's in San Francisco, which is like going home.
That's home club, yeah.
Because
it's giant now, though.
it's a giant room. It's
That's
like
not the
500
room you
people.
started out at,
No.
right?
The
Yeah.
other Cobb's on the Wharf was like this little.
It was
a
sweet.
gem.
Yeah.
So
I opened
it's
for
big
Pat
Cobb's.
Oswalt there. The
Oh,
only time I
really?
ever got to work.
That
it.
must have
It
been a
was-
great week.
It was a great week. It was
He brings like good
and it was
people.
12 years ago. So he talk about being in your stand-up groove.
Yeah.
It was a sweet spot of working.
So I'm there with like Chad Daniels and Jacob Siroff.
Oh, my
and
God.
Tony Kameen.
Yeah.
So it's all comics who can't
New Year's
fill
Eve?
a 500 seater, but
good.
perhaps the six of us can.
Right, each of you get 100 to come
together.
out per show.
Yeah.
You guys can do it. I'm not working until after New Year's. Do you usually work New Year's?
I try to as much as I can. I always feel like that's even though it's misery, I'm like, oh, that means I'm a comic again this year.
I used to think that, and then because the other thing that used to happen with it is that the money was triple.
Right,
And it's
yeah.
over. That's
Yeah.
over. They're no longer doing that anymore.
Yeah, I guess
Which is
not.
a disappointment financially.
Yeah.
And then
the audience is still charged triple
Yeah,
though.
the audience is still paying through the nose,
Yeah.
but the comics are no longer paid enormous amounts.
Yeah.
I've worked two New Year's in the last 5 years, and it's been nice to not work the New Year's.
Yeah.
Because then I don't have to drive among the crazies.
Yeah.
And it's always a wrestling match to get them to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
And for New Year's shows. But I'm working the week after in my home club in Acme. So talk
that's
about going
great.
home.
That's
I'm going to
great.
Minneapolis the first week of Jan. And it's going to be so, I don't know.
Such
I don't
a great
even,
room.
I don't even know who's featuring and emceeing, but usually they're people who, I mean, they're just amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm super looking forward to that.
I'm staying with my mother at my parents' house.
Are
Hold
you?
on. I dropped my pen. But I'm helping her move out. You know.
Oh,
and-
right.
and
Is she
move
going to go into some
in
sort
with
of
me.
assisted?
Oh no,
With you?
I'm assisting her.
Are you?
Yes.
You're going to be the assist. You're
yeah.
this. All right.
So it's weird. Like it's a grim. It's a task to go in there and just because my dad died in that house, and,
Right.
Part of you wants to preserve it or
Right,
put a
right.
plaque up for the next family.
Shellac it. You're just like, I
go.
don't think you know my dad lived here. He was
Don't
great.
put a coffee table right here. Just move over here's fine, but right here is where his
Have
spirit
you
left
heard
his
Bill
body.
Dwyer's joke about the couch?
No, what?
I think it was something about the couch that somebody died on.
Yeah.
And then they didn't get rid of the couch. Oh, his dad died on the couch, and then
Yeah.
they didn't get rid of the couch. And he was like, why didn't we get rid of the couch? I just saw Bill Dwyer again,
You
by the
can't
way.
get rid of the couch. You would get rid of it?
If somebody died even if it was my dad,
Yeah.
I'd definitely get rid of it. I mean, we're not a sentimental people, and clearly, but that might be a Midwestern thing. Bill's from Chicago. I'm from Milwaukee.
You guys are hard.
We're-
But I've been
it's a-
watching Making a Murderer. You motherfuckers are hard.
I knew it would come up, you guys. I loved your tweet about how the Wisconsin accent is no longer as sexy as you
Oh my
once thought
God,
it.
awful! And then it's just appalling. Just in poverty and poor
Sure.
people and not getting lawyers.
Scott Walker.
and,
Sure. Yeah.
the whole.
There's a reason why. It turns out there's some political reasons why people don't get lawyers.
Yeah.
It's because they're run by Matt. My beloved state. I love Wisconsin like the power of the Shire. It's like the Shire to me, which is a Lord of the Rings reference. You don't need any part of it.
You saw my face go blank.
Yeah, I saw your face kind of go, zzz, and I was like, Dork Forest moment. Let me just tell you about the Hobbit.
Reel Laurie in, reel her back in.
Right, but you love murders. And
Well, I wouldn't put it that way ever.
but do you watch any other? Like, do you know
Well, here's
Michelle
the thing.
McNamara?
Pardon me?
Do you know Michelle McNamara? Patton Oswalt's wife, True Crime
Yeah.
Diary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
com
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Right.
She loves.
Yeah,
She
that's
I
her-
could say to her, "You love murders," and she'd be like, "Well, I wouldn't put it like that either." But she loves the mystery of the murder. I don't care so much. It
Here's
makes me uncomfortable.
The thing about Making a Murderer is that I think we're used to the dynamic of white police officers, white power structure, and a minority that's being shafted.
Right.
And it's still it's surprising to see. It's like it also happens white on white, and so
Right.
it's less. I mean, there's racism involved when it's white on black, but it's a fuck of a lot of classism involved
When it's white on white.
when it's white on white, and so it's also got to be that with white on black too,
Right. Right. And there was a black kid was shot in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the dad came out and was protesting it, and the guy wrote it. It was an article I read, very powerful article. I wish I had all of the information. Let me start here with a third of the information, you guys.
Tell me what you've retained.
Here's what I've retained, which is the black guy went up to the white guy and he said, they killed my son last year, and there's some relief in the fact that they also killed yours. And the fact that neither of our families will get any justice.
It's a white man also had his son
His
was
white-year-old son.
Yes. I
And
remember that.
So it was just essentially Kenosha, Wisconsin cops just shooting a lot of young men.
Right.
Of various races and colors and creeds and
Well, as a mother of
Cops.
a brown son, I'm not even
Not
remotely
great.
worried about it.
Oh
Yeah,
my! I'm
everything's
sure.
fine.
How about we take away all the guns from the cops and just give them tasers, and then only people who die are people with bad hearts.
Yeah.
How about that? Then it's a crapshoot. Then it's just a
You're
crapshoot.
going to die anyway.
Any hoodle.
But here's like when last weekend in Scottsdale, Emily was doing joke writing with a couple of comics that working at the Improv.
Oh, cool. Joke machine.
Mike Lester and Derek Hughes. who
Okay.
are Minnesota guys. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
yeah.
pointing
I know
to
those
you.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we all meet at a Starbucks, and then I like we're all throwing our premises out, and I just my premises were I felt like such a grown like. My life's too grown up. Like my
compared
thing
to
is,
their premises?
my mother's moving in with me, and I'm trapped like a fucking rat, and it was a lot heavier than some
The
the
20
lighter
something,
sort of
and or 30 something. But because Derek Hughes has a couple of kids, doesn't he?
I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah. And he's
Not
the
according
magician.
to his act, but or not according to the shit he was working on. But I just felt like envious of when I was like in my 20s writing about dating.
Right.
I
ended up watching
it was so easy, and now it's like this, it's real shit. And
I think that's going to be great, though. The thing is I love that shit. I love that kind of stand-up.
I love hearing stand-up, but living it to write it.
Oh, right. Well,
not worth
that
it.
is not worth it.
Not worth it. Grief, people dying. Like
Yeah.
I was this comic, and I'm taking care of two. I'm a 78-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I'm
Right.
tending to them.
Right.
How did this
Right.
fucking happen?
Well, it does seem to be the nature of the of the business of life.
Yes.
It's, I've been working for the last, I would say, 3 years on this bit about grief.
Yeah.
That will not. I mean, parts of it are funny.
Right.
But what I need to do is I need to write it all out and find out where the 3 punchlines are and then get rid of all the extraneous bullshit.
Right.
But I want to talk about the extraneous bullshit because I think that there's probably something there in the fact that no one in my family, in my community, in Wisconsin, I don't know, it feels like nobody is dealing with grief. And it might be a 21st century American thing where literally someone dies and someone around you treats you like, yeah, people die, walk it off. It's
Right.
let's go get a cup of coffee. And you're like, well, I would like a cup of coffee, but can't I be sad for a second, right?
It's weird because there used to be like lamentations, and people would wear black for a year, and it was like
It took a
widows.
year.
Yeah,
Right.
it
It
was
took a
like an
year for-
acknowledgement that you're in a special place.
Right. It took a year to get over my mother's death.
How old
And,
were you?
Well, my stepmother died 3
Yeah.
years ago.
Right,
And
right.
and it took a year for me to go and not just be randomly weirdly sad.
Right.
Like your father just
Yeah.
passed away, and there's random weird sadness that
Yes.
happens.
Yeah.
Because you're reminded. Like, I would think I would get really mad at my aunt and uncle, her siblings, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to call. She's the only one that I could call
Yeah.
to bitch about them.
Right.
Because she's the only one who would get it.
Yeah.
Everybody else would be like, why do you even talk to them? And I'm like, well, because they're related. I don't,
Yeah.
because I miss her.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm going to talk to them. And they're like, well, I wouldn't talk to them on a dare. And you're like, talking to you is not effective. And so then I have to talk to heaven and talk to my mom and my stepmom in heaven.
Do you do that?
I do a little bit. I will occasionally go, Nancy, Jesus, what's going on?
Wow,
And,
that's cool.
So I feel it gives some solace. But here's the
Yeah.
but here's the only the biggest byproduct of Andy's dad died, and then 2 months later my stepmom died. And the biggest byproduct of that is I don't keep my phone on at night anymore. Do you know why? Because people will still be dead in the morning. Everybody
yeah.
died at 2 in the goddamn morning.
Yeah. And
Why
you
do I
want
have-
you want your last 8 hours of peaceful
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah, I'm going to sleep it out. It turns out like 9/11.
Yeah.
Guess what time I woke up on 9/11? 11 a.m. Pacific time. So
I
shit had
woke
already
up-
gone down.
I was living on the Upper West Side, and I woke up also around 10:30. I just,
Right.
I'd had a
Well,
late night.
you had a
There's no
late
reason for
night.
me to be up. Yeah.
Okay, but I was watching a bunch of comedy before I got here because of Beth Stelling and all that, right? And so
let's talk about what is Stelling before you.
before I talk about just comedy in general. I was just going to say comedy
Okay.
in general because you were just talking about what younger comics write about.
Oh.
And I remember this in my 20s. I would write mostly about drinking, and most of the guy comics would write about getting high. And I've
Yeah.
noticed that sort of remained the same. Most of the young
Yeah,
women
totally.
comics I know write more about drinking,
Yeah.
and most of the young men comics that I see write more about getting high. And I was so psyched to stop writing those jokes.
Yeah.
Because there's good dick jokes there. There's perfectly good sex jokes to be.
There's good dick jokes everywhere.
It's true. You can write them
If you're a professional, you can find genitals.
So right,
no matter where you are.
even in grief, you guys.
Oh,
Anyway,
especially yes.
So Beth Stelling posted today on Instagram. This is what day is it? The 28th.
28th,
So
December
this is going to
28th.
go up a week from now. And then there was already an article on Vulture about it, about how she was in an abusive relationship
This year,
this year.
like while we've known her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we've known her, whoever her boyfriend is or was, and luckily she broke up with him. And she said she didn't want to out him because she didn't want to hurt his feelings. And then she was like, well, that's absurd because he beat the shit out of me.
Right.
And she didn't put it like that. I'm going to extrapolate. So, but it was, she showed these pictures of her on television and then the pictures of her legs where they're finger bruises on her legs where he's clearly
pretty gross.
Just throwing her around or holding her down or doing some horrible, horrible thing. And it was gutsy stuff. And there's already an article about how, because she was like, I want to still be funny. And if I'm ever going to talk about this stuff, you guys have to know that what I'm saying is not true. Is what it felt like. I mean, it's the sort of thing that I think we've always gone through as women comics where you're like, well, I can't really talk about that because no one's going to believe me. And so she posted pictures, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think it's, you think the audiences don't want to hear it, Yeah. And that's what I do. That's another thing I think about the feminizing of comedy a little bit is I think a lot of people do want to hear it now. And it's not...
Yeah.
It's not the
There's
same.
a dozen guys who don't.
It's not the same dumb audience that came out in the 90s in a way, Mm-hmm. It's almost like all the observational comedy. Like everything's been observed. There's not a lot of new shit that hasn't gone unnoticed.
We've noticed as much as we can about riding the bus, you guys. It's crazy. It's huge. It's covered.
It's all been noticed. So it's all, you have to shift the gaze internally. You know who else has a great chunk about rape is this comic named Wendy Starling. Do you know her?
No, I don't know her.
She has a really...
I think I've met her, but
she
her name
has
sounds
something
familiar.
she was working on here that was like... that was also really, really great. And I just felt like, oh man, that's going to be amazing when you finish it,
Right.
You have something...
Right, I've got that crazy sexual healing.
That is a great bit, and it's not graphic, but because of how delicate you describe it, it almost is graphic in a way because it's gentle and it's not like this happened word. It's not Charles Bukowski. It's a little.
It's more feminine.
Yes,
it is a softer way of looking at being attacked.
Yeah,
and then trying to get over it.
Right,
I mean,
right.
The thing is that bit, I remember the first couple of times I tried that bit, it's you have to, nobody really, I mean, I was trying to explain it without nobody has to relive it with me.
You're the first person I'd ever heard talk about stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
A ground floor of changing the world, you guys. But I think it's like what you were talking about with grief and with your mom moving in and being trapped in a corner, just going, why do I have to help all of the generations? And
right.
Right. I think that everybody wants to know how to make that funny. And so with Beth, Beth is a great comic. And so the writing will happen. And this is the fact that she did it so publicly is so crazy to me because that's essentially a first draft of the joke, her posting those pictures.
Right.
It's super dark, but she's like, no, this is going to be funny, you guys. I swear to God, one day, but I'm not going to protect this asshat anymore. And that was great.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's also so astonishing where like when you think of something like that happening to female comedy, you're like, oh, that must have been what got you into comedy. It happened a long time ago. And to think,
and then you've risen above it some.
She's in it like 6 months ago,
right?
After,
6 years into doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, it's like that's still no matter that. Yeah, like I knew her when it's so strange to me,
right?
And that's also something I guess it's a myth is that. It wouldn't happen to somebody who otherwise has a whole bunch of other shit going on, you know. Even and of all the people, comics are the most outspoken about stuff.
Yeah,
and even somebody like that. You know? It's very powerful,
super powerful. Now, and it leads me to my next thing I wanted to talk about, which is the comments section on anything.
Right.
Like I did Conan for the first time, like 3 years ago. It was my first late night set ever, and it was amazing. And
yeah, you had a great set.
thank you. Then I got to do it again this year. Very exciting. And I've submitted another one.
Everyone loves you.
He hasn't called me back. Anyway, so,
I think that's his way.
It's might
I
be
hear
his
that.
way.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, I'm
I have
sure.
nothing. There's no control I have over
There's
it.
nothing you can do about
But
it.
I hear
can
that.
ping him again as the new year begins.
Yes.
And
it's not Conan we're talking about.
Oh,
We're
not
talking
at all.
about the
We're talking
comedy
about
person.
the comedy guy who books it, who is, by the way, the only guy in the business that I've ever seen do his job.
Yeah, and he's great, and he books a ton of women. Especially,
and
you compare
ton
it to
of
the
comics.
Yeah, if you compare it to the other shows, it's like
many.
No offense, but we're off the charts.
Yeah. So no offense, but Conan's really knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
So the show, and so, but I accidentally read the comments
Of your
of my special of my set, and I was reminded to never read the comments.
Right.
Because you're looking for some sort of positive feedback.
Yeah.
And there's some of that. And then all of a sudden you get punched in the face. And you're like, oh, that's right. There's a bad guy.
Your positive feedback is Conan O'Brien putting his arm around you going, great set.
Yeah. That's
pretty. That's all you need, Jackie.
Yeah. And the check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both of those things. The fact that I got to be on the program.
Yeah.
Conan enjoyed the set.
Yeah.
And I get paid.
Instead of have her back.
Yeah. Have her back. Those are all three. That's
enough.
That's enough with the comments.
You don't need boner6969 at Gmail. You don't need to.
I love that guy, man. Did you know that he has a boner? Anyway, I did this thing also for the money where it was a storytelling thing for Always Makes, like Depends is a brand.
Yeah.
But Always Makes a Depends like underpant for if you accidentally pee yourself. Like if you have problems stopping your pee.
Yeah.
And so there's a website called purpleclover.com, which is for women of a certain age. And that age is 50 and above. And so
I fucking hate all this shit that's 50 and above. And I'm like, wait, that's me too?
Get off.
Like HuffPost 50 and over makes me want to cringe.
Yeah, it's all cringeworthy.
Yeah.
But Purple Clover, what they're trying to be more. 50 isn't that bad. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And so they asked a bunch of women comics in their 40s and 50s and 60s and everybody, I think over 40, to come and do stories. And so they asked me if I would do a story. And I said, does it pay? And they said yes. And then I said, okay. And then I submitted some story ideas and they picked one of the stories, which was just a bunch of, I do a storytelling stand-up. So it's just a bunch of material that I told as a story. And then I show up and I sit down to do it. And the producer guy's like, hey, do you have any other stories about wetting yourself? And I said, I don't have a lot of stories about throwing up on myself. Is that something? And he goes, no, we're hoping that you might have had. And he said, it's fine. It's going to be fine. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I did my story and it was perfectly, it's just a sitting down set.
Yeah. Me
sitting in a nice blouse, telling the story.
Yeah.
And so at the end of it, they air it. They air it on purpleclover.com. It has a spot on AOL because it's for old people. And so AOL, I was on the cover of AOL.com telling this story.
Wow.
Right.
Are you okay with that?
Well, that's what somebody asked.
I mean, nobody saw it.
Well, clearly.
Nobody's on AOL.com.
And my name is nowhere, by the way.
Oh, that's weird.
On this video. It was super weird. It was almost like, well, it's an underpant ad. She's not going to want her name attached to it. And I was like, no, I did a one-nighter one time where there was a train that went around the bar. That was for $200. I don't have any pride left. I don't have any dignity. What are you thinking? And so, but they didn't put my name on it. And so I started reading the comments. And a lot of people were like, that was really funny. Who the hell is she?
Oh,
and that
come
was
on.
lovely,
Seriously?
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. And that was nice. And then somebody posted that I was me.
Yeah.
My name. And then I read too long. And then all of a sudden it was, oh shit, nobody likes my shirt. Anyway, so, and then it just got worse from there. And I was like, oh yeah, undo. Just cash the check, call it a day.
When I,
do you read?
I don't, no, not that much, but I mean, I don't have a lot of, I sometimes read, I posted a thing a long time ago where I was on stage at River Center in San Antonio and somebody threw bread at me. And I was recording it, so I recorded, and I sort of dealt with it comedically
Just like a
as one
role?
will. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fantastic.
So
So
that
glad
went
no one
up.
was policing that giant cavern of a room.
I know.
Anyway.
So that went up, and then people telling me how they would have done it had they had bread thrown at them on stage. Is my favorite.
Monday morning.
Man, I would have boo 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 boo. Oh, really? You who've never done stand up in your life, you would have boo 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 boo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah.
Huh? Who doesn't want to run the show from their couch? And you're like, dude, this happened a couple of times last year, which was it happened once.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I'm trying to hide protect the innocent. So I worked with a guy, and not the owner of the club, but just like one of the manager guys, the bar manager was like, I don't like him. What, we're thinking of cutting his time. And I was like, oh, I think he's great. I mean, like, what do you expect out of a feature? What do you want?
Don't say the word cunt.
Oh, really?
Not in front of me. No.
Not before you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
in conversation, it's fine.
Yeah,
if
of
it's in
course.
context.
It's my
Okay.
it's my middle name, so it's fine. But no, but yeah,
It's an old Irish word.
I don't know. That's not even a hard rule because if it's a great joke, I don't care.
Right.
The most important thing is great jokes.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna break like 15, if you're just gonna do like easy shit and say,
Don't be a terrible comic. I would love a great comic.
But
performer.
I don't like going up after if people aren't expecting that in the crowd, and then they're sort of shell shocked when someone's really angry and you're a fucking cunt. It's like I have to go up after that,
Right.
Like, you're supposed. I don't know. It's weird. Like when I was a feature, I was never trying to do anything for the headliner. I was trying to kill. I was trying to blow the headliner off the stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I have only heard that from men. This is an exciting
really?
little insight into the mind of Laurie Kilmartin.
But see, I didn't do it in a way where I was unfollowable.
Right.
Like I wasn't like
you weren't trying to bury the headliner. You were just trying to do the best
bury.
you.
I was trying to destroy so I could come back and headline the next time.
Right,
But
you're just trying to do the best job of you.
Yes, it's never comfortable when someone goes up on bombs after you.
No.
And then the next night you're on the show. It's like not good. It doesn't feel good.
No.
So yeah, I don't know. I remember once being was it in Ann Arbor? And the guy in front of me was just like unnecessarily lazily filthy.
Okay. He was just shocked.
And I felt like the audience,
craziness.
was like, "Ew," and I don't
just
know.
vaguely grossed out. Well, that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Like lazy comics or filthy comics for just no punchline points.
Yeah.
But what I do want, my favorite thing to follow is someone who is destroyed. Mm-hmm. It's always, I like to think of the idea of me going up and going, guys, it's not going to be a real, I'm just going to try to keep it up here.
Yeah.
Because the whole show's been great. Let's just keep it up here and you guys will leave and go, this was the funnest night of my life.
Yeah.
And, but I like it. I mean, if they're not super tight, like if the jokes aren't super amazing.
Yeah.
If they're thinking.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah.
If the comic before me, if she's done something where she does a lot of political stuff, and so they're thinking about that, even if the punchlines are hit and miss, that's fine.
Emily did a ton of political stuff, and it was great, and it was really funny and sharp. And I could tell it was Arizona, so some people were like,
I gotta go get my gun.
It was
no,
great.
I don't. It's on me.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. That was great. I loved it.
Right. It's just a nice setup, and then you can knock it out of and it's sweet. And because when I feature or when I open for anybody, I want to set them up, right? Like if I go up before someone who's super dirty, I tend to do sort of my 3 dick jokes that I have.
Yeah.
Just so that they have heard the word fuck by the time they get up.
Well, now if I'm opening for somebody now, in that situation, which I don't do, but like if I were to do what you're doing, like opening for Regan or opening for Maria, I would definitely make sure I didn't do anything that would anyway harm or
It's like sparring with Apollo Creed from Rocky. Like, I'm not going to take a sucker punch. I'm just going to set you
saying
up.
when I was a feature and I was only making $500 a week, and the only way you could get out was to get better comment cards
Yep.
from the audience, I would just try to fucking crush every single night.
And that is different from what I was talking about.
Yes,
There were
yes.
guys-
If you're a headliner or wherever you are and you're opening for Brian Regan only has headliners. He has you, he has Kermit Apio. He has like real headliners opening for them.
Right. But,
so yeah, you're
but
just
remember those guys that I was talking about who would try to blow the that's something else where they were trying to actually set up the headliner to eat it.
Yes.
Which you were not doing.
No,
you were
no,
just
no.
trying to be the best you.
Yes.
Which I always did anyway, just because I when you're only given 30 minutes and you have 45 minutes, you want to do all of your jokes anyway. I already talk
you do it
faster.
as fast as, yeah.
You're just like, you can laugh fucking later. You can spend the rest of your life laughing at these jokes. I got to get them all out right now.
Yeah, and the thing if somebody like trying to deliberately fuck over the headliner is when they go long.
They go,
like I never went long. I'd get my
Did your
line.
times.
I do. I was on the road I would close, and this would I'm ashamed to say, crush. I would.
Someone has to say it, and I believe you.
An impression of a penis trying to talk a woman out of not using a condom. And it was adorable.
Even you can't follow that. Yes.
It was adorable. And then it would end falling asleep because, Tim Wilson.
That does sound adorable.
Tim Wilson goes, "God damn, girl." He was a great comic,
Yeah.
and it was like, it was a good road closer.
Oh,
let me tell you.
It sounds like an
was a good
amazing
one.
road closer. I used to do this thing about this vagina T-shirt joke that I used to do about how I would close because I got a massage and it got too whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was relatively.
It got too close to your vagina, the massage.
Yeah, it was in my vagina, and I was like, "That's where I keep my vagina." And then,
yours folds in on itself like origami. That's nice.
And then some people were like, "You got to sell that shirt," and I was like, No, I'm never selling "That's Where I Keep My Vagina" T-shirts or whatever. And so that I closed because on the road you do want to close with almost the dirtiest thing that you've got because you can't follow your own best dick joke.
Yeah,
nobody can. Which is why the MC has to come up, little sorbet, little palate cleanser, and then bring up the headliner. And
and then the headliner has to start. Can't like you've ended on your talking penis or your put away vagina. The headliner then has to start from zero with "I was at Starbucks today" or "my kids," and then they have to build up to their sex closer.
Exactly.
So it's a ride for the audience.
It's super fun.
That always ends in sex.
Woo! And then and now we're gonna go back. And, Tick, tick.
But you can't open on sex, or that's all you're gonna do basically.
Right. If that is all you're gonna do, you better be able to sustain it. That's a 45-minute blowjob or whatever.
I've done those once. I've done that once.
So when I opened for Regan, it's squeaky clean, right? Because he just doesn't even write those jokes.
Yeah,
he does not
right.
ever. I'm sure he thinks about all the things that we all think about.
He's a normal man.
He is a normal human being.
Yes.
He does not write bodily function jokes. He doesn't write sex jokes. And he really doesn't curse.
Yeah.
Like, even in real life, just walking around, I'm sure if he hit his thumb, he might say fuck.
Yeah.
But that, I haven't. It's fun, it just isn't. So I would be doing him a disservice and myself a disservice, as he would not probably have me back.
Yes.
But,
and the audience wants what they want, too.
Yeah, and they've come
they paid
to see
a lot of money.
They paid a lot of money to come.
A lot of people bringing kids.
They brought their 7-year-old for some reason. And but they and I always do want the show to go well.
Yeah,
right.
Of course,
I always want everyone to have a good time at the damn show because they've hired a babysitter. You know that joke you do. It's like it's already $75 to leave the house.
Yeah.
So let them have a good time. And then when I opened for Maria, she's like, "Please try your weirdest, newest stuff."
Oh,
and
that's so sweet.
It is the sweetest. It's just awesome because it's always a mess. And I open and close with stuff that works, but it's just a treat.
And her audience is into that.
They're totally into that. They want to hear.
Dude, you got the best of both worlds.
It is pretty sweet. It's pretty great. And then I get the best of all three worlds because then I get to do my own road work.
Yes.
And people, there's at least 22 people in every city in the world that want to see Jackie Cation. So all good. So what else? What else you want to talk about? How?
We have a list we're working off of.
Yeah.
By the way, I've abandoned my. I said this on a previous one that you could probably download, where I was trying to look young at comedy clubs. So I came up with this thing where I would only wear one of my contact lenses so that I wouldn't have to wear reading glasses because I'm nearsighted. So my left eye, which is useless unless something is 3 inches in front of it,
right.
like that one I would read out of my notebook and
Yeah.
then the right eye would be my driving eye.
And you've bailed?
Yeah, because last week I forgot my left contact, completely separate issue, and I had to spend the whole week like that. And I was like, no, this is fucking ridiculous.
It is.
And
oh my God.
people thought I was, I had my iPhone right, like almost my nose was touching the glass, and
Yeah,
I just looked like an ass. And then I just, I thought I don't want to
embrace it.
Yeah.
It was like last week I talked about how I discovered that probiotics, you could lose weight if you use diuretics. I've decided recently that I don't want to be sick to lose weight because
Right.
you're sick. Because essentially you're making yourself sick. And I was like, I can't concentrate if I'm riffing with somebody, but I'm also trying not to shit myself. Too much info. But there you go.
My dad lost so much weight a year and a half ago. He died. Okay.
I knew. I was like, is there going to be a... He looked so good, you guys. It was just the clothes just
he
hung
looked
on
thin.
him. He looked super thin.
He
Just
looked thin.
The way that...
Yeah.
Dark. Nice work.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what about comedy specials?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we were
So
gonna-
anyway, we're going off. Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Because I can't. Because now my special method I didn't bring. I can't see our list of topics.
Right, so I could hold it
So
for
I'm
you like
trusting
over
you.
here.
Yeah,
And,
I'm even vain. On it turns on a
audio.
podcast. I'm very vain.
Right. So
I
that
don't want Aristotle to think I'm the age he knows I am because I mentioned it once.
We're
a
on the
podcast.
Nerdist Network, you guys, by
Yeah.
the way, and Aristotle's bringing it.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
So my special. Okay, so we decided I'm working with a company that's
Right.
That they run the stand Cringe Humor.
Okay.
And we're gonna add some footage that we have from my dad's actual hospice situation.
Right, because you wrote 45 minutes.
The special's got 45 jokes about my dead dad. And
right.
it's about 42 minutes long. 'cause
42.
I cut out some of the ones that didn't work.
Fair enough.
About 75 or 80 jokes. But it was all stand up about cancer, death, grieving,
dad,
funeral,
yeah.
my dad, blah, blah, blah. Helping someone die,
Right.
escorting them onto the next
And 42
journey.
minutes of that.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And so, to get his comedy special sold,
It's not just stand-up anymore.
No,
They
unless
didn't-
you're
They didn't like
famous.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I
I
did...
mean, Eliza's was just stand up.
was it just at a theater?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, she's
She's
Eliza.
Eliza Schlesinger,
Yeah.
so she won Last Comic, so
Yeah.
they care more.
So if you're not that, which neither of us are, like
Not at this time. Not at this time.
and not at this time, you have to. It's got to be really special.
You got to mix it up. You got to bring something to it.
So we're gonna add footage from hospice, of the family taking care of my dad. That sort of complements the jokes I'm telling.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna put in some of the tweets, like maybe text
Okay.
some of the tweets I tweeted during
Going
the
to
time.
turn it into kind of a Ken Burns comedy special?
I don't know. I'm sort
It's,
of interested. I mean, artistically, I kind of was excited by how they were telling me, and then that vision they have. There's interest of a couple different places.
Right. Oh, that's great.
So anyway, I'm
Yeah,
sort of
because
excited.
my special, this will make an excellent Horcrux, available for download at Comedy Film Nerds or as a DVD at
Yes.
JackieCation.com.
Yes.
Is just straight stand up. It's a club set.
Yeah.
And it's 56 minutes. And I was led to believe that Netflix and those things and CISO and Hulu and all
Yeah.
these places were looking for content. That is a direct quote. You can put quotation marks on it. They are, except for that only from famous people and only if it's more interesting. Like Maria's special.
Yeah.
Where she
with her-
performed to her parents.
Yeah.
That is a weird...
Yeah.
That's something that's exceptional, right?
Yes.
So putting this footage, the hospice stuff, I think is going to make it sort of just gives it another depth to it.
Yeah.
I wish I had known that. I would have, I don't know, gone to Hogwarts because it's called This Will Make an Excellent Horcrux. I would have gone to Orlando and given a shit and bought a scarf, a Gryffindor scarf.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll still work, and
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
This is the first episode that's going to drop here on Nerdist, and it's
Right.
going to go, I think, January 4th or 5th or something
Cool.
like that. Where are you working first first week if people want to come and see you do stand-up?
I'm back. Conan's
at
back
work?
in production.
Okay, so
then I'll
LA
be
sets.
in LA from the 4th till mid-February straight. So
Okay, so just doing sets.
yeah.
That's
You
crazy.
can find it I'm on Twitter, AnnieLaurie16, and I always tweet, the stuff I'm doing. So.
Right. And I'm doing Minneapolis and then Tacoma and then Sketchfest. I'm doing live, live
sounds
whatever.
fun.
That'll be super fun. And then, I don't know. It's all on. I'm at Jackie Cation on Twitter.
Cool.
So, and JackieCation.com. But super fun.
Right on, Jackie.
We
All right,
talk
it's our
about
first
comedy.
official big
Yeah,
one,
for an
right?
hour. That's awesome.
You guys could take it. There'll be some of our earlier attempts,
Right.
which aren't bad. There's some good ones
not
in
bad.
there.
There's some
We'll
good-
load them later, but
this one's tight, you guys. This one's good.
it is tight. All right, you're tight.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.